bat music. Bat is not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello and welcome once again to Bat Minute Returns, the podcast where we take a bath in Tim Burton's 1992 Batman sequel, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And bringing dignity and class, it is I, John Parker.
And two folks who are well in need of a bath after walking all the way to Mordor and back, Norman Mitchell and Cassandra Fredrickson.
Hi.
Well, we're not on the way back yet.
No, we're in the trenches right now.
Oh. We get dirty enough on the way there.
That's actually...
if we tried to take a bath in the Forbidden Pool, Faramir would have to slay us.
Oh my god.
That's actually something I really like about Lord of the Rings, right? This is going to sound weird. Is by the last movie, when they're going up Mount Doom and stuff, they look like they've been through hell. They look like it's been the most arduous trek. They're dirty, they're covered in crap. They can barely stand up, their lips are chapped. It looks tough and hard, and no other films seem to get this right half the time.
That would have been great, though, like in that bit on like the bottom of Mount Doom, when Frodo's all like, I can't quite remember the feel of grass, but the feeling of grass and all that kind of stuff. He's just like, all I see is like the wheel of fire and all that. But he just shoved in, but Sam, you really, really stink, dude. like the stench of sweat off you at this point. Like, I know I'm bad too, but whoa. I'm kind of glad we're going to die here because I can't stand the smell any longer.
Oh, the poor guy.
Poor Sam.
And that's when Sam picks him up to carry him to the mountain and throw him in
Throw
himself.
him in the volcano.
Just throws Frodo in.
Ring around his neck, throws him in the lava. Sam's like, I save the day.
But that was my major criticism of Jurassic World, though, when that came out, because, at the end of Jurassic Park, you see, like, everybody, but, like, the two kids in particular, they look like they have been through hell. Like, Lex and Tim. There's, like, they look like they've been showered with crap in a jungle and chased by dinosaurs and nearly died about 50 times.
Yeah.
And at the end of Jurassic World, it's like, those two kids kind of walk away from it. It's a bit like at the end of Ghostbusters when like they all come out covered in marshmallow goop and then Venkman disappears with this little minor bit in his head. It's like those two kids at the end of Jurassic World are kind of like, whew, yeah, that was inconvenient. Like it's just, they don't look as if they went through anything.
That's true.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Because we're here to talk about minute 38 of, or not 38, 68 of Tim Burton's Batman.
Oh god. I was like, oh no, did we watch the wrong minute?
Oh, I thought the last few weeks had been a dream.
But the minute 68 begins with the penguin, or not the penguin, with Catwoman still feeling a little bit dirty and deciding to rectify that situation. And it ends a minute later with Selina Kyle pausing for reflection. So,
ooh, that was a very nice way of putting it, because I think my mind is still in the gutter from the last 2 weeks. So I just put the minute starts with excessive tongue action.
Is she purring?
Is she purring? I don't.
Is that her making that noise, or is that
no,
the penguin?
I think it is the penguin.
Yeah,
because it sounds like purring.
That's the thing that, like, well, just so people know what's going on. This is the infamous bit where, like, the Catwoman, I'm going to take a bath right here, and she starts bathing herself like a cat by literally licking her wrist and rubbing it across her head and stuff. But the thing is, like, that's because the music goes a bit weird as well. But the most disturbing part of this whole scene is the noise the penguin makes. So he kind of looks at her, and then he just does this real, like, it's like, what is he getting out of this? Like, what?
Wait, do you not make those sounds when you're aroused? What?
When you're watching a beautiful woman bathe herself?
Yeah. That's normal, Niall. What's wrong with you?
But I guess the question is because, like, Catwoman at this point already knows that the penguin is a sleazy pervert. and that he has obviously been trying to get it on with her in any way he can. But now she must be, particularly with the sounds he's making, she must be well aware that he's gonna be getting off in this. Is she doing this as a kind of like as almost like a weird olive branch to him of like, because they've been there's a bit of animosity between them, and now it's like, no, we're making a deal, so she's like, I'll do this.
I have a terrible phrase in my brain.
No.
Go for it.
God.
Does this count as waterworks?
No! No!
Of course.
We're getting a divorce. Oh my God.
Oh. Where do we go from there? But to
Oh my God.
to answer you though, Niall. No, I don't think I think it is. It's a deliberate tease. If she keeps teasing the Penguin, if she keeps, turning him on, I'm just going to say it, turning him on, he'll do her bidding.
Yeah.
It's a weapon, isn't it? If she teases him but doesn't give him anything, that's the power, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's a seductress, right? Like, she doesn't want to actually sleep with him, but she's using his attraction against him.
Yeah. Which is smart, really, because if he's that much of a sleazy pervert, exploit it. Do it.
But once again, I should mention, again, Cassandra, because if you haven't watched the rest of the movie, you might be unaware of this fact, that this is actually a room full of people. Like, the Penguin's gang are just sitting in the corner watching all this happen, which is even weirder.
Oh, that's so weird, yeah.
Well, he tries to sleep with Catwoman. My God. Last week, he tried to actually sleep with her while the gang were watching. That's perfectly normal to Penguin and his gang.
I wonder how long does this bat last, though? Because is she like literally there 4 hours, like doing this, and it's just like eventually after a while, it's like, yeah, you need to get out. Like, okay, the deal has been struck, but you need to shift.
Right? Does she start like licking the bottom of her foot?
Oh,
like,
no.
where does she start going? Oh my God. How far does she take this?
That would be incredible. I would love that. That would be amazing. Why isn't that scene not in the movie? I'm
assuming though. This is an indication as well, because this can't just be Selina Kyle's her only bathing regimen, because otherwise, the makeup and stuff she's wearing, if this was the only way she cleaned herself, she would end up looking like the Heath Ledger Joker, basically.
Yeah.
So imagine, this is a bathing technique for only the Catwoman side of her personality. This isn't just what Selina Kyle does when she goes home after work and stuff these days. Although her hair is a bit of a wreck, so you never know.
Well, that's because it's pressed down under
all
all
this.
this.
Just having the mask on all the time.
Yeah.
Just takes the mask off and the hair is just like, whatever.
Plus, I am watching my cat Drusilla right now clean herself. She's across the room doing almost this exact thing. And in typical cat fashion, it's probably going to last...
That's an excellent name for a cat.
Oh, thank you. In typical cat fashion, I think she's going to stop any second now and just run out of the room for no reason. That's usually what they do. So they
just like stare at you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens at the end of the scene. It's just like Catwoman just stands up and boots it out of the room.
Someone like shuffles their feet awkwardly and Catwoman just bolts away.
She stops and then just like runs.
A deer in the headlights pauses for a full 10 seconds and then runs.
Totally. That's exactly what would happen. You know it.
Like, is there some scenes cut from the movie of her having that exact reaction to Batman showing up?
Oh my God.
So whipping her head around and pausing. And then running away.
Well, that's the thing. Like, to me, what she's doing here is the most cat-like she actually gets. It's the weirdest thing she does in the whole movie. It's beyond strange. She's completely insane. But it's also it's kind of hot, let's be honest.
I don't know, man. This is one of the few things
It's the way she's like looking sidelong at the Penguin while she's doing it.
That's one of the few things that she does in the Catwoman outfit that I find distinctly not sexy, because it's too much. It's too much for me.
She's licking leather.
Well, that's the thing.
Which I guess will do it for some people.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
I just keep getting the image though of like the... Because all that's going to do is dry out your tongue as soon as you lick the arm. And then she's going to have to be like building up the saliva back in her mouth again in order for it to get the next go around. It's like, if she successfully did her entire body, she would be dehydrated as all hell at the end of it.
Well, I work in a pharmacy, right? And in the pharmacy, we have fake saliva.
Oh.
So you can put that in your mouth if you have a dry mouth.
So you're saying that's like, oh, she boots out of the room to go down and get some fake saliva in the local pharmacy.
Yeah.
And she steals it because she's Catwoman.
Yep, completely. She steals it.
As Batman, and like you see him at the back computer. It's like someone keeps hitting all the pharmacies and only taking the saliva. What kind of freak is doing it?
Maybe a human-sized cat.
I have to say as well, though, to be fair, at least she won't get a hairball out of this because, you know, the normal cat, that's where the hairballs come from, isn't it? Is that they're cleaning themselves and then the wayward hairs build up in the throat. So unless she ends up coughing up a load of friggin' vinyl later on in the movie or something, this is actually a much safer way to do things.
She's just eating stitches every so often while she's doing this.
Oh my god.
Oh, that would be great if she had a stitch ball. Coughed up a stitch ball.
Oh, yes! And like a thimble comes out as well.
It's just a ball of yarn.
I just feel like all of this comes from like Tim Burton just fundamentally misunderstanding something. He's like, the penguin. Oh, he must literally be a penguin man.
Yeah.
Catwoman. Oh, that's obvious.
Yeah, she's
I can
a
handle
cat.
that. Woman.
I love it. It's fantastic. The way you just took those characters and made them literal.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Spider-Man thing. Like, she was bitten by, like, a radioactive cat or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, now she's just Catwoman.
Well, you're not far from the truth.
Yeah, you're not,
Oh, really?
not terribly far off. Like, and that's practically what happens to Halle Berry in the terrible Catwoman movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Which is
Oh.
clearly inspired by how Catwoman is created in this movie.
Right.
We cut then to our hero. We see Bruce, and yep, he's watching the TV again. He sure does that a lot in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of scenes of him, a lot of shots are just Bruce staring at the TV.
A lot of this, though, is I'll almost give it a pass in that that's a lot of the Dark Knight Returns, the comic. There's a lot of TV stuff in it, whereas like most information is gotten to Batman by him observing it on TV, basically. So it could be that they're like, yeah, well, that's what happened in that thing. People like that, so we'll do it in this movie. It's just...
So in a new Batman, he should be trawling Twitter instead for info.
Oh, he has to get Alfred to do him for him.
Yeah.
As I got into a
What
massive
hash-
flame war today, sir.
What hashtags would you like on this post?
But like, maybe earlier in that Vichy Soir scene, he's just like, it's Vichy Soir, sir. It's supposed to be called #humbled. And just like walks away. Goes, oh, you got me. You got me, Alfred.
Oh. No.
Just imagining Alfred saying hashtag before anything.
Although I guess it would be like,
So
because he's
basically-
British, he might be like pound signed. They go, oh no, because the pound sign.
Pound sign.
For years, I always called the hashtag a pound sign. It's a pound sign. That's what was always in the phone. It's like,
Yeah.
press
Yeah,
pound.
that's what it's called. But now it's
Now it's a hashtag.
I think it became a hash through the use on the telephone, didn't it? Because it was used for certain things on the phone.
Oh.
But I might be wrong about that.
That's what I mean. Like I always thought it was.
That's why I was always calling it a pound sign.
Yeah, it was always called like press pound to do this, and then press pound and star, and then it became out of nowhere hashtag. I'll say out of nowhere.
See,
I'm sure there was a
always
thing,
hashed
but
it was always hashed to me.
well,
But maybe that's an Irish thing, Niall.
I don't know. Well,
Because those Americans, you guys, you're mostly Irish anyway.
that's the thing. I have to say, I do enjoy the little mini gargoyle above the Wayne mantelpiece here. This like, because it's like, oh yeah, it must be like historical thing. But I also like to think that like young Bruce Wayne made this in modeling class and then brought it home to Alfred. And he's like, oh, we'll put it up on top of the mantelpiece, Master Wayne. It's been there for years. Like when Selena over later, he's just like, do you like that? I made that myself. I was 12 years old at the time.
Oh,
Look at that work of art.
I suppose it's better than showing your potential love interest baby pictures of yourself.
No, that was weird.
Weird.
that is weird.
Even now, I've been with my partner for 13 years. I still feel a bit weird looking at pictures of her as a baby. I'll be honest.
But now we can get to the main argument of this minute that I want to bring up. Okay, Bruce Wayne, is he eating a breadstick or is it a raw carrot? Because it looks like it could be a little thin carrot, and it does kind of crunch, but then it could be a breadstick. So
I thought it was a carrot. I didn't even look into it because I didn't consider the fact
I thought it was a carrot too.
Yeah, I thought it was a carrot.
Yeah, don't know because
it is quite thin, actually.
And
I suppose he could have cut it. It could be one of those weirdos who cuts the carrots into little batons.
Yeah, but then when you see after he's bitten off, you see the ends it looks very white. So it's like, well, maybe it is a breadstick.
You've ruined my life, Niall.
I guess you could always argue, well, Batman wouldn't fill up on bread because he's all about healthy eating because he's Batman. He needs to be. So,
but he's very active.
Batman.
He needs those carbs.
Oh,
Yes,
that's true.
true.
That's true, yeah. But then
That's something people who are trying to be healthy get wrong. They think, no carbs. It's like, no, hang on a minute. You do need carbs. You need the energy from the carbs. You just need to pick the right ones and in the right amount.
Right? Because carbs are what your brain eats.
Yeah, you need the fuel.
I have to say, this is my favorite of the casual Bruce Wayne outfits, though. So he's got his little cravat back there as well. But I'm liking this jacket. Is very cool. This kind of like so dark, almost kind of like a reddy, kind of like a maroon kind of color with the red shirt. It's like, yeah, it just looks pretty. Although I have to say, the belt's insanely high up. Like, I don't know why his trousers are up so high.
It was the 90s.
Was the style at the time.
And I just calling back to in Batman 89, we had Bruce Wayne with the insanely high jeans as well. So maybe that is a thing that's consistent with his character.
I like the way that he's just standing around the house wearing a cravat. That's fantastic.
Again, though, this is it's Alfred who dresses him, so...
Yeah, I know Alfred wears a suit all the time. He should have to have some kind of, like, decorum.
He's
Class
a
and
butler,
dignity.
that's the law. Yeah.
That's true. I know Alfred has one line, and I love him already. Like,
It's a great line, to be honest. Because first, Bruce is watching the TV, as I said, and the Penguin is there. And he's challenging the mayor to relight the tree. Because it all went wrong last time he tried. That's an odd thing to challenge him to. You'd think he would challenge him to a debate or something. But no, I want you to relight the tree. But Alfred, he's having none of this. He wants this off his screens in favor of something with more dignity and class. Namely, the love connection. And I didn't know what that was, so I had to look into it. Did you know what it was, Niall?
No, but I'd heard the name, and I didn't know what it was, but then I looked into it too. But I let you can explain it, John.
So, yeah, I didn't know what it was. So I looked, and it was an American television dating game show. Originally hosted by Chuck Woolery, but now hosted by Andy Cohen in its last incarnation, in which singles attempt to connect with a compatible partner of the opposite gender. I don't like the way it specifies that. Miss me with that opposite gender stuff. Whatever. Just
right?
Yeah, that's a bit... Okay, I understand. Maybe it was an older show. Okay.
That was like in the 60s and stuff, wasn't it? So back then it was just like, yeah.
But why does Wikipedia have to specify that? That's a bit weird. But okay. But it sounds remarkably like our program now, Blind Date, hosted by Cilla Black.
That's what I was thinking of. Like, is it just Blind Date? But then I thought America also had Blind Date. I thought it was an American show as well.
Oh.
But I guess it was, but it was called The Love Connection.
Oh, I don't know. It sounds slightly
I think we
different.
also had a show called Blind Date.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
I'm sure, though.
Was that Blind Date, did that involve basically you had three people sitting on one side of a screen and then a potential date? And then they'd ask them questions, and then the people on the opposite side would give, like, very blatantly scripted, but they pretended like they came up with it off the cuff. Kind of like clever answers and stuff. Like, if you know...
I think so. That's what, I think so, yeah. That's what's going on at the end of Mallrats.
Yeah, yeah. So
Or throughout Mallrats.
So is that, to you guys, is that The Love Connection, or is that Blind Date?
I think that's Blind Date.
Oh,
okay.
So what's Love Connection? What if you had to describe what happens in The Love Connection to me? What would you say?
I don't know. It's probably literally the same thing because there's tons of repeat game shows and stuff in the U.S.
Oh.
I think that's called I think in the U.S. the three people on the other side of the screen is called the dating game, not Love Connection. I think that's the dating game.
Oh. Wait a minute.
So that's our Blind Date. It's the dating game. Okay.
Wait a minute. I'm going to have to...
I think
makes
so.
sense.
Let's have to check something here quickly, because
But while you're checking, I will say our blind date, as I said, was hosted by Cilla Black, who is from Liverpool, where we're recording from. So everything's connected in some form or another. Good friends of the Beatles, which of course everyone in Liverpool is.
So here,
Why wouldn't they be?
No, because I was
Why
thinking,
wouldn't
like,
it be exactly?
you had a thing, wait, I think it was at the start of this movie, or we brought him up before, but because the dating game is created by, I remember it from the movie Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. It's created by Chuck Barris, who was the guy who ended up, he alleged that he was also a CIA operative and stuff. But they made a movie about him, directed by, because I think we brought up a show before because it was it's directed by George Clooney, who obviously go on to be Batman again. And then it also co-starred Drew Barrymore, who's in the next Batman movie and stuff as well. So the dating game is also linked into, and apparently Chuck Woolery also hosted the dating game. So limited range Chuck Woolery is a host apparently.
Hey, he can't help but bring people together.
But
I wonder, is the love connection a multi-person thing, or is it one person at a time, maybe?
I have no idea.
Is it like one potential suitor at a time?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think, because I don't know if I've ever seen the love connection.
Because again, though, now there's going to be listeners going, "You idiots, how do you not know what the love connection is?"
How have you never seen it? I love that Alfred would rather watch that kind of show, though, because he would probably consider that trash, wouldn't he? He's clearly a man who would hate the love connection, but even that is preferable to putting up with the penguin on his TV.
The Oswald Cobblepot.
Yes.
But as Alfred now is a man who's changed his tune. Because remember, he was the guy going on to Bruce earlier about why are you looking into this penguin? Obviously, there's nothing wrong. Must you be the only lonely man beast in town? Etc. etc. And now as soon as yep, Bruce has come home, just that penguin's a bad guy. I told you he was. And now I was of course, dignity and respect, the love connection. That's right, we hate the penguin, don't we, sir?
He's trying to get in with Bruce. Yes, I always hated him, really. I also like the way, in the last movie, of course, Alfred was trying to be Bruce's love connector. He was constantly trying to hook Bruce up with Vicky, and now he's trying to recommend a love show to him. Do you think he's subliminally trying to make him think of a new partner again to get him away from the penguin?
He's going to bunch up next to him on the sofa while watching
Bruce,
it going,
you're lonely.
Yeah.
Nudging him going, perhaps you should apply for the love connections. Alfred,
that's what he's doing.
Leave it alone.
Because again, in the last movie, all he did was try and hook him up with Vicky and have little bats running around the place.
Flapping about.
Yeah, flapping around, I should say.
Oh, we had a brief thing talking about a couple of episodes back about Bruce and Alfred watching the Antiques Roadshow together. It could be, maybe, you never know though. Maybe the love connection is a thing they always watch, and he's just well, better drop a hint to change the channel to the love connection. As we all know, so Saturday night is Love Connection, Sunday is Antiques Roadshow.
That's so cute.
Just imagining Alfred and Bruce watching Antiques Roadshow. It's just would you like me to call the auctioneer, sir?
The thing that we've gone off topic again, who cares? The thing I never understood about the Antiques Roadshow over other antique shows we have, because we have got loads, we have millions of things like this, but the Antiques Roadshow is the original, but they don't go on there to sell the item. They go on there just to find out if it's worth anything. Is this worth anything? Yeah. Okay, thanks, bye. That's it.
I mean, what you don't see is a connection to people that actually buy the stuff and auction it off for them.
Yeah, but you should want to see that. And that's what the other shows all do, is you see the auction and it's exciting. Oh, are they going to make the money? Antiques Roadshow? Nah. And 99% of them, they find out, it's worth money. And they go, are you going to sell it? No. Oh, okay then. You just come on to show off? Okay, fine.
It's basically just getting yourself a free evaluation. So I've seen it sometimes on Pawn Stars. But I think I've seen that happen a couple of times too, where you get the odd cheeky person come into Pawn Stars who's just so how much is it worth? And they're it's worth a couple of grand. Then so you wanna pawn it? Do you want to sell it? It's nah, I'm fine. You just know they're just there to get the evaluation for free, and then they're well, I'm just going to go sell it at auction, and then I can end up getting I'll put this on eBay, go Pawn Star says this is worth 28 grand. Then I get all that.
I could imagine these guys watching these kind of shows together when they're bored late at night. They've had a few brandies, maybe. You know,
Alfred's a little tipsy.
Yeah. What do you think he drinks? I think he's a brandy man.
I don't know.
Yeah, he drinks a high class liquor.
Cognac.
I can imagine he's more of like a sherry type myself. But
Oh, a sherry.
A sherry. In the tiny glass.
yeah.
Yeah, he could keep his little butler gloves on while he's sipping it from the little glass. Now, I reckon he hits it hard. He goes on the shots. He's on the Sambuca.
He gets a little drunk and he puts on the bat suit.
Yeah.
But actually, I will say one of my favorite things that from watching this a minute at a time has gradually become Oswald Cobblepot's digs at the mayor. Because we had him coming in talking about the mayor, I may have saved the mayor's baby, but I will not protect the mayor who stood by helpless as a baby, and all this stuff. But I just love it. Again, a little minor jab he gets in here of just, talking about, and then just, at one point just goes like, not that I have any faith in the mayor. It's just like, it's so just needless. It's just like a little I'm just going to kick the guy while he's down as well. Make sure everyone knows I think he's a piece of dirt.
I didn't know that this was a Christmas movie. Is this a Christmas movie? There's like a Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People are shopping.
I would consider it a Christmas movie, like Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but I'm sure people argue about that.
Okay.
Right? Is it a Christmas movie or just a movie that takes place at Christmas?
Well, to me, that's the same thing, but that's the argument, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie.
Hell yeah.
But there's no one ever, the debate rages with Die Hard, but no one ever calls into question It's a Wonderful Life. Because that could be set at any time of the year as well. If you want, the same story could happen. It just happens to be set at Christmas. And yet everyone's like, yeah, of course it's a Christmas movie. I was like, how does Christmas in itself play an integral part that you could just remove Christmas? Except for the friggin' every time a bell rings, that bit at the end. Everything else, you could surgically remove Christmas from It's a Wonderful Life and set it at Easter or Thanksgiving or something, and it'd be the same exact movie.
But it's the Christmas magic that lets him see what would have happened.
What if it's like Halloween magic?
Yeah,
it's like undead necromantic magic.
Just takes place at Samhain.
The best kind of magic.
Is there a thing at any point that they say to Clarence is like, it's because it's Christmas you're getting sent down to see this guy? Or it could have been like, it could just be like, yeah, it's just like any time of the year. This good man is about to kill himself. You better go down and take care of this. Or is it specifically like, no, we do it once a year at Christmas? So
just randomly.
It's only people that try to kill themselves on Christmas get a guardian angel.
Oh my god.
But anywho, we do get the Penguin then also issues a challenge to Batman to saying he hopes and prays that Batman will be present to preserve the peace, and then gives the camera the most intense friggin' Stanley Kubrick stare of just like, that's right, Batman, I'm talking to you.
I'm looking right at you right now. You're watching TV, aren't you?
Yeah, it's as
Batman
if he knows.
Watches TV.
I like the way as well, it doesn't even remotely seem suspicious at all, does it?
I think the nose makes that look at the camera even more threatening.
Yeah. It's so creepy. They've really thought about the angle he's going to look at that camera. Because that nose just pops. It's fantastic.
That's the thing, though. I have to ask, is this the same day as when, all the stuff with Catwoman happened? Because it's like, so is she still just right upstairs? Was he literally like, okay, I'm going to go announce this right now, get the press back in, so I can come down and issue this challenge to the mayor and stuff? Because he's wearing the same outfit, but then he wears the same outfit all the damn time, so.
Well, he only has the one outfit.
I just like the idea that Catwoman's still up there, given mid-bath, but it's only been like 20 minutes.
He's like the Kingpin in Daredevil season 1. He just has a closet full of all the same clothes.
He's like Doug.
Literally all the same.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah. I love Bruce's reaction as well, because he knows what's happening. He says, subtle. Because it's not, is it? I mean, it's obviously a trap. Even to people who think the Penguin's a good guy, you'd be thinking, wait a minute. That's a strange thing
What
to
was
say
that?
and do. Yeah. And then when something bad does happen, they'd be like, he must have set him up. That'd be the first thing you'd think of, right?
One would hope, anyway.
No, the Penguin is like Teflon, man. Everything just slides right off him. He can't be blamed for anything.
I do wonder though if there was a moment where like they knew this was so intensely unsubtle that we can't not let this pass in the movie without addressing how blatant the Penguin's being. So we better have him say like, "Oh, subtle," like joke about it. Well, there is a slight difference in that. In the other drafts, part of the Penguin's scheme is that what he's going along with this is because he wants to take down Batman in order to aid his political rise, because the current mayor is all pro-Batman. And so the Penguin's anti-Batman, and then Batman's proven to be a criminal, he looks better. And so, but this is kind of, I guess they had to kind of cut that because it's like, well, why then would the Penguin be going like, I'm hoping and praying that Batman's going to be there if he's anti-Batman and, trying to diss the mayor via that route. So I guess that's the thing they had to remove from the script because it was, just wouldn't have worked story-wise or whatever. So also, I don't think we mentioned it last week as well, but there's frequent recurring characters in the original Dan Waters draft called Punch and Judy, who are like Norman, you remember the guy who gets his nose bitten by the Penguin, the PR people. Like those characters recur throughout the original script. They're constantly around the Penguin, and they are like they kind of have like a little, Catwoman and the Penguin are chatting about doing this, and then they just sort of appear like, ding dong, hi, we've just been hearing about your nefarious plan, and we think you should do this, because they're just like these comical PR people that are just like, whatever makes the Penguin look good so he can be mayor. We don't care how widely illegal it is, but we're here to advise you how to do it and stuff. And
that's so funny.
But I think it might have been a bit like too funny for the script, so I think that's why they took all that out, because like, well, now you're just making like a broad comedy if you have like these sycophantic, like smiley, yuppie looking PR guys coming around constantly trying to help the most blatantly evil looking man in the world look good and stuff.
I would.
That's
love
incredible,
to
though.
have
I would
seen
love that.
Yeah.
Actually, sir, if you do it this way, you might gain more followers.
That's pretty much what it is. Like, they just go around, like, everything he does, there's like, well, according to the charts we have here, this would go well with the voters and stuff like that. Like, that's their whole angle. And the Penguin's just constantly like, oh, all right, fair enough, I better do what these guys say. We then cut to Selina Kyle out on the streets of Gotham. Oh, say the streets of Gotham. She's in Gotham Plaza.
I do like this bit, though, because she's a bit schizophrenic, because she's, like, asking herself, why are you doing this? Which is really interesting, because it doesn't always portray her as, like, two people, like, in one body.
Yeah.
It often portrays her as just, like, she's snapped, she's gone overboard, she's gone too far. Whereas this sort of implies that maybe she's actually kind of lost her mind.
Yeah. I think I almost got a kind of vibe, like, this is almost a return to sanity, though. Like, she was completely off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
And now it is a bit more like the shock is worn off. That she's a bit like, well, wait a minute, what am I doing? Like, this is getting excessive. Maybe I should...
It's like a bargaining phase.
Yeah. But the thing is that there's a thing from all the other drafts of the script here that was cut, which I have to wonder why, because I thought it was really, really good. Where before this shot, it actually says, naively giddy children and guardedly amused parents board a window shop down the damaged but not defeated outdoor mallish line of shops. Father, mother, and boy, a family highly reminiscent of young Bruce Wayne and his doomed parents, glow to a magically intact Shrek toy store window. Bruce Wayne sidles up beside them and sadly contemplates the cozy menage. He turns and looks not through the window, but at the reflection of himself. And then he looks over and notices that Selina is at another window doing essentially the same thing as him. So it's kind of like, I don't know why they cut that, though, because that's a really good little nod to the, what Batman's all about, his motivations, and him sort of,
Right.
Looking into his own psyche, and then Catwoman, his counterpart, his mirror image in this movie, someone he can finally connect to, doing the same thing down the other way, like looking into herself and contemplating her own motivations and stuff. And don't know why they cut that. It seemed like a really good idea to me, but I don't know.
It's a shame.
Yeah. But yeah, so we do get Bruce and Selina having a little bit of a chin wag that will carry on into the next minute. So,
Well, I just want to say her coat is amazing. I love
It's very
it.
luxurious.
It is. It's nice, isn't it? It looks warm. I need that. My coat's terrible. It's freezing here at the moment. I'm dying.
is this like a like a Siberian tiger fur? Is that what the look they're trying to go with? It's like it's a bit cat-like. That's what we're going for. Or
Oh, it might be.
Actually,
I
the
hadn't
deer in the
thought
window
of
she's looking at is kind of creepy. The reindeer.
Oh my god, its eyes.
Is she gonna eat it next?
Soul dead doll eyes.
I'm surprised they didn't throw in like she's looking at a cat or something, like or like a cat-like toy or something like that.
Or a little mouse dressed in a Santa outfit.
A little mouse.
Oh,
They had that famous Christmas game, The Minister's Cat. Maybe there's a Minister's Cat board game that she's looking at or something.
yeah.
I just want like shots of her staring at squirrels around the city and pigeons.
Or it's just like a giant goldfish bowl, and she's like batting the window at the same time.
She's just, like outside an aquarium, just like with her hand on the glass.
Oh. But anywho, I've got all my notes out for this minute. I don't know, you guys have any other thoughts about this particular minute you want to get
I
out?
don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I really like the TV transition. I think it's I don't know. I think it works for what's going on because the Penguin is so over the top.
You can't really top her like taking a bath, though. I don't know.
Yeah, you just like, oh, okay,
How do you
that's what we're doing. If you cut to like Bruce Wayne and taking a bubble bath,
Oh
that would
my
have been
god!
great.
Yes, that'd be great with
Or
bubble
if
bath
at least
that
he was
kids
in a
get.
bathrobe. Like if Bruce was in a bathrobe
Stepping out of the
watching TV,
bathroom
that'd
watching
be
TV.
incredible.
That'd be something though if
Oh,
he's
yeah.
in the bath and then Alfred came in to give him food, but he just had like the same little rubber duck that the Penguin drives is just in his bathtub too. Oh, you wouldn't have seen Cassandra. The Penguin drives a giant rubber duck, and that's one of his things
Yep.
in the movie.
The more I hear about this movie, the more I'm just like, I need to see this for myself because I can't believe that this is happening.
Well, when Niall says the Penguin bites someone's nose, he means that literally. He there's oozes of blood gushing everywhere.
Oh, it's visceral. Like it's unforgettable.
Oh my god!
You've got a lot to look
He's a
forward
little
to.
monster.
But you can't gather that we'd recommend the movie by the fact that we're doing this podcast. You should really watch Batman Returns. It's very, very good.
But I'm glad you're excited, and I hope you're excited to join us again on Friday because we'll be back with
Yeah.
more. Yeah. Would you like to tell our listeners where they can find you once again?
You can find us on duelinggenre.com. There's a bunch of other stuff. We're part of the podcasting network, so that's a lot of fun. And if you're interested in Lord of the Rings Minute specifically, we're on the site. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, etc., etc. And join the party.
Yeah.
Join the
party.
fellowship.
Yeah, the fellowship.
Hey.
Adventure.
Oh, I'm sure every
Right.
listener's always wanted to be part of the fellowship. So do it. Do it.
Sometime in the next, 700 days, we'll have made it to Mordor, probably.
700 days. Oh my
Well, it
God.
feels like you are on that actual journey with them, with those characters. And I mean that as a
Yeah.
positive.
Because we're also doing the extended cut, so it's just like, oh, okay.
Well,
We chose
you have to
this.
do
Yeah,
the
we've got like
extended cut.
Yeah.
we've got a good 300-minute movie to do next time.
Everybody, check us out online on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, where else? iTunes. We'll make a MySpace. What else are the kids onto these days? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you can only have a MySpace if you're a band nowadays.
Yeah. We're a band technically. We're putting out audio content. We want to press it on vinyl. There you go. We're a band.
Releasing podcasts on vinyl.
Oh my
Podcast on vinyl. It's the future, kids. I'm such a hipster. I only have my podcast on vinyl.
Right? Millennials love vinyl.
Exactly. And, you can find us on Tinder, Grindr, all of the WhatsApp. There's an official WhatsApp. There's a Discord for real, but we never use it. So we have a Twitter group, which I didn't even know was a thing, and there's about 3 people in it. Me, Dave Pallas, and Sean German. So, if you're interested in that, I can add you if you really want.
That's join us again. Lineup as well.
But yes, if you're interested, join. And join us again on Friday for more Bat Minute Returns.
Next time, streetwalkers and talkers, a doomed dalliance continues to gather pace, while callbacks to Cronum Clown criminals are thrown in our face. But will some idle gazing subject our couple to a tabloid hazing? Find out next time. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.